Hello viewers, today in Royal Math videos we will be learning how to simplify logarithmic and exponential equations. In this tutorial we will be learning multiple rules to help make your life easier when it comes to simplifying complicated algebraic expressions involving square roots, cube roots and to the power of n number. Okay, so the problem we face today is the cube root of a 8 times by a to the power of 3 times by b to the power of 6 divided by the square root of 1 over 25 times by a to the power of 4 and b to the power of 7 times by bracket 16 times by the square root of a to the power of 4 times by b to the power of 6 all to the power of minus 1 over 2. So all of this is to the power of minus 1 over 2. Okay. So the solution is 5 over 2a squared times by b cubed. So step 1 is to simplify the equations separately, starting with the first part of our problem. So it's the cubed root of 8 times by a cubed times by b to the power of 6. So step 1a would be to apply the exponential rule. Whatever is n square root of a, b and c is equal to n the square root of a times by n the square root of b times by n to the square root of c. A very simple rule but very useful, as you will see. So this now has converted to these three expressions. This one expression is become these three. So the cubed root of 8 times by the cubed root of a to the power of 3 times by the cubed root of b times to the power of 6. Then step 1b would be to simplify it further. So then the cubed root of 8 becomes 2. The cubed root of an expression times the cube root of an expression to the power of 3 cancels out, so this just becomes a, and then the cube root of 3 to an expression times to the power of 6 becomes 2. This is because you do simple division. So here, so this is itself 2, but over here, so 3 divided by 3 becomes 1, so anything to the power of 1 isn't really shown, so it's just a, and then 6 divided by 3, which becomes 2. Okay, now that's the first part of the expression done. So now step 2 would be to continue to the next equation, which is the square root of 1 over 25 times by a to the power of 4 times by b to the power of 7. Now step 2a would be to use the rule a over b times by c is equal to ac over b. So this then turns the square root of a to the power of 4 times by b to the power of 7 over 25. So what we've simply done is a to the power of 4, b to the power of 7 times by 1 all over 25. And then step 2b would be to use the rule and simplify. The square root of a over b is equal to the square root of a over the square root of b. So we've basically split the square root into 2. So then this becomes square root over here, so it's split into 2, square root of a to the power of 4 times by b to the power of 7 over the square root of 25. Now this has made everything a lot more simpler, as you will now see. So to simplify it further, what we can do is split this apart even more. So a to the power of 4 will then become 2, as there is a secret and hidden 2 over here, so 4 divided by 2 becomes 2. And then b7 becomes 7 divided by 2 as expressed before, and then 25, the square root of 25, as we should know, is 5. So then all of these three, combine them back into this expression, which is now simplified, becomes a squared times by b to the power of 7 over 2 over 5. Now step 3 would be to continue to the next equation. So bracket 16 times by the square root of a to the power of 4 times by b to the power of 6, all to the power of minus 1 over 2. So step 3a would be to separate the equation and to solve to simplify. So square root of a to the power of 4 times by b to the power of 6 becomes, as you say, 4 divided by 2 becomes 2, and then 6 divided by 2 becomes 3. So a squared and b cubed. This should then be placed back within this original expression, which then becomes 16 times by a squared times by b cubed, all to the power of minus 1 over 2. And now we need to use a rule: whatever value here to the power of minus 1 over 2 automatically becomes 1 over the square root of the value over here. So using this rule, we then get 1 over all of this. So this has become 1 over the square root of the expression below. And now we need to use the rule and simplify the following. So the square root of a, b, c, again, split into 3, square root of a, square root of b, and square root of c, which then becomes 1 over the square root of 16 times by the square root of a squared times by the square root of b cubed. This has made things a lot more simpler now. This becomes 1 over 4 times by a times by b to the power of 3 over 2. Now what we can do for step 4 is bring all the simplified expressions from steps 1, 2 and 3. So here we now have 2ab squared minus divided by a squared times by b to the power of 7 over 2 over 5 times by 1 over 4 times by a times by b to the power of 3 over 2. Now, so step 4a, we need to use the rule a divided by b over c essentially becomes a times by c over b. So these two become multiplied and then divide by this expression here. So this becomes 5 times by, as you can see over here, so this 5 moves over here. So 5 times by 2ab squared divided by this here, which is here, so a squared times by b times by to the power of 7 over 2 times by this expression here, which is 1 over 4 times by a times by b to the power of 3 over 2. Now what we need to do next is separate expressions and to simplify. So what we do over here, we take this part over here, we take it right here, 5 times by 2 times by a times by b squared becomes, here you just times the 5 by the 2, which becomes 10ab squared. And then what we need to do is to combine these two here. So as you can see over here, so this is one part, so this is really just one fraction, where this is the numerator and this is the denominator. So for the denominator over here, so we have combined everything together, where it's a2b to the a squared times by b to the 7 over 2 times by 4 times by a times by b times to the power of 3 over 2. Now we need to use a rule: a to the power of b over c times by a to the power of d over c is equal to a to the power of b plus d over c. As long as the denominator are the same, we can add the two numerators together. So here this then becomes a cubed times by 4 times by b to the power of 10 over 2. So how we got this was by combining a squared plus the a. So this then becomes a squared plus a1, which becomes a3 or a cubed. We still have the 4, and then we combine the b's together. The denominators are the same, so all we need to do is add the numerators together. So 7 plus 3 is 10. So over here, if we simplify this a bit further. By dividing 10 by 2, we get a cubed times by 4 times by b to the power of 5. And now what we need to do is bring all the expressions together and simplify further. So here we have the 10ab squared over a cubed times by 4 times by b to the power of 5. Now what we can do here, we can simplify this even further. So here, to do this as in fractions, what we do is we divide everything together. So 10 and 4 we can divide each by 2, so this becomes a 5 and the 4 becomes a 2. And now over here, this is the a1 here, so we can get rid of this and we can minus it from here, so this becomes a squared. And then we can do the same with b, so b to the power of 5 minus b to the power of 2 becomes b cubed. So now this final solution is 5 over a squared times by 2 times by b cubed. Thank you for watching another video. Please like, share and subscribe, and comment down below what your thoughts are, ways to improve the video, and have a nice day.